supercar. With beauty and grace, fast as can be, watch it flying through the air. It travels in space or under the sea, and it can journey anywhere. Supercar, supercar. It travels on land or roams the skies, through the heavens' mighty range. It's Mercury band and everyone cries, it's the marvel of the age. Supercar, supercar, supercar!
Dr. Beaker! Oh, Dr. Beaker! Hurry! Oh!
My dear Professor, what's wrong?
Pain. Oh, I'm in pain in my right side, Dr. Beaker. Sharp, stabbing pains in my right side. Oh! Oh!
My dear chap, you obviously have a very high temperature. And you say that you have pains in your right side?
Oh!
It could be appendicitis. We must get you to hospital at once. Ah, there, Mikey's he's sleeping peacefully now.
Nevertheless, the sooner we get him to the hospital, the better. I still think we should have taken him in Supercar.
No, Mike. An ambulance is better. He must lie flat.
Perhaps you're right, Doc. Do you reckon it's appendicitis?
Well, it has all the symptoms.
How serious, Doc?
Well, provided he gets immediate attention, not serious at all. But if it were neglected...
Well, we must be almost there, Doc.
Although you're not a doctor of medicine, Dr. Beaker, you were quite right in your diagnosis. Acute appendicitis, but there's no danger. I'll operate in the morning. He'll be just great.
I sure am relieved to hear that.
And now we must let him sleep. Let us continue our discussion in my office.
Well, I think we've taken up quite enough of your time, Doctor. I think we should leave. Many thanks for your help.
Why, not at all, Doctor. You've helped us many times in the past on research work. Now it's our turn to help you.
You say we should ring you about midday tomorrow to see how the professor is.
That's right, Mike.
Dr. Maslin, whilst I am here, I wonder if I could ask you a great favor. I am replacing one or two components in Supercar and would like to X-ray them to check that there are no faults.
Why, certainly, Dr. Beaker. Why don't you take this X-ray plant with you? It's an entirely new type, and I'd be interested to have your report on it anyway.
Oh, that's most kind of you, Doctor. Oh, most kind.
Gee, Dr. Beaker, do you mean the hospital let you borrow this?
Yes, that's right, Jimmy.
How does it work?
Well, I'll show you. Just walk round the back, Jimmy, and stand behind the screen.
This I must see.
Now keep still, Jimmy. Now, I switch on. Right. You can come out now, Jimmy. You see how it works?
But, Dr. Beaker, I didn't see a thing.
Well, Jimmy, it wasn't intended for you to see.
Yes. Of course. How stupid of me. I'll stand behind the screen, and then you can watch.
I don't know who's the most intrigued by this X-ray machine, you, Jimmy, or Dr. Beaker.
Right. Now, I'm standing quite still. Now, push the button, Jimmy.
Okay, Dr. Beaker. Gee, Doc, it doesn't look a bit like you.
Say, Doc, you've got me worried. Do you realize that you've got one more bone than anyone else in your chest?
That's right, Dr. Beaker. Right here.
Oh, Jimmy, switch off. Oh, this is most worrying. If what you say is true, then I'm a freak.
No, I don't think you're a freak, Dr. Beaker. Just take a look in your top pocket.
Oh, of course, it was my pipe in my top pocket, showing up on the X-ray. Excuse me.
Gee, I didn't think it was that
I
funny,
see.
Mike, did you?
Hey, hold it, Jimmy.
I understand.
It sounds like trouble.
Oh, dear. Of course, Doctor. Yes, I am glad you telephoned. Of course. We'll be right over. Goodbye.
Dr. Beaker, what's wrong? Has something happened to Professor Popkiss?
Oh, no, Jimmy, but his condition was a little more serious than we had first thought. He's quite all right, Jimmy, but he is rather ill at the moment, I'm afraid. We must go to the hospital at once.
How are you feeling, Professor?
Not too bad, Jimmy. A little weak, perhaps, but then that is to be expected after having an operation. How's Mike and Dr. Beaker?
Great, Professor. They're with Dr. Maslin now.
So you see, gentlemen, unless we can give Professor Popkiss a blood transfusion within 12 hours, it could be very serious.
You speak, Doctor, as though there was some problem.
Dr. Beaker, there is. The professor belongs to a very rare blood group. And the only person I know of who belongs to the same group is Professor Kaczynski.
Well, we have Supercar. Just tell us where he is, and we can get him here in no time at all.
I'm afraid it's not as simple as that, Mike. Professor Kaczynski is on an experimental mission 20 miles from the North Pole.
The North Pole? Still not really a problem, Dr. Maslin. Not in Supercar.
I'm not so sure, Dr. Beaker. Before you arrived, I had telephoned the United States Air Force to see if they could fly the plasma here for us. They reported that the weather conditions in that area were such that it would be impossible to reach them.
Guess they hadn't reckoned with Supercar.
You mean you're going to try and get through, Mike?
That's right.
Then I'll come with you.
Only another 100 gallons, Dr. Beaker, and she's fully fueled.
Oh, good, Jimmy. I'm glad to say that the heating system and de-icing system are both working well. They'll be needed where Mike's going.
How cold is it at the North Pole, Dr. Beaker?
Oh, so cold, Jimmy, that the snow and ice never melt, and the temperature is sometimes 70 degrees below zero.
Now, Professor Kaczynski's base is here.
Let me see. Yeah. That's about 4,000 miles. What sort of setup has he got out there, Doctor?
It's a wooden hut, specially insulated against the cold and heated by electricity from a small oil-driven generator. It was flown out in sections by the U.S. Air Force.
His work must be pretty important. What's he doing there?
Well, that I can't answer, Mike. But as you say, it must be pretty important. It's obviously top secret.
Just think. Thousands of square miles of nothing but snow. And right in the center, a small hut with 2 men.
At position A342/46, successful contact was established with what we believe to be mineral deposits of uranium. Depth estimated at 1,000 meters. Signed, Karl Kaczynski. Well, Jason, we've made it.
I must say that I never thought it would really happen. But your theory has proved to be correct.
I feel that I want to radio the news back.
We dare not do that. The information is too vital to risk.
Of course, Jason, I wasn't intending to do so, but it seems hard to have to wait another 3 months for the relief team to arrive before we can report our sensational discovery.
But we can use those 3 months to check the facts and be absolutely sure.
Charging port. 2,000, 4,000, 6,000.
I feel I'm very fortunate, Mike, to be able to fly in Supercar with you. I only wish the circumstances were a little happier.
Yeah, so do I, Doctor. 12,000. 14,000. 15,000. Interlock on.
Interlock operating. Fire 1.
Roger. Fire 1. Charging starboard.
How long do you think it'll take us to get there, Mike?
A little over 3 hours if all goes well.
15,000. Interlock on.
Can I do it, Dr. Beaker?
Of course, Jimmy.
Interlock on. Fire 2.
Yes, sir, Mr. Gibson. Fire 2.
Dr. Beaker, don't forget to open the roof doors.
Of course. Roof doors opening.
Full boost vertical.
Now, you're not gonna get away with it. Not this time. It's lucky I saw you. Now, come on out. I said out.
Come here, Mitch. If you don't behave yourself, you won't get any peanuts today.
Once again. Full boost vertical. Supercar to base. Am climbing to 50,000 feet for maximum fuel economy. Over.
Roger, Mike. Call me when at 50,000 feet.
Roger, will do.
Supercar to base. Supercar to base. Leveling off at 50,000 feet. Setting course 000.
Roger, Mike. Call again when you have made contact with Professor Karzinski by radio.
Roger, Dr. Beaker. Listening out. We have a long way to go, Dr. Maslin. For the sake of fuel economy, we will cruise at 2,500 miles per hour.
2,500 miles an hour? And you call that cruising? No wonder you call it supercar.
Supercar is bang on course. All appears to be well.
When do you think they'll run into bad weather, Dr. Beaker?
Oh, not for some time yet, Jimmy. Mike will probably call us in about an hour from now.
Dr. Beaker, shall I make some coffee while we're waiting?
An excellent idea, Jimmy.
When we get there, Doctor, do you intend to bring Karzinski back with us?
No, Mike. Oh, that won't be necessary. I'll just need a little time to take the transfusion, and then we can leave.
That's funny. It's locked. I guess Dr. Beaker's been locking up again. He must have the key.
Supercar, supercar, it travels on land and under the sky, through the heavens, something or other. Oh, I can never remember those words.
Dr. Beaker, can I have the key to the kitchen door, please? It's locked.
Locked? Oh, well, now, who could have done that?
Why, you, Dr. Beaker. You know you're always locking up everywhere.
Well, I like to think of myself as a responsible person. But I can assure you that I have not locked the kitchen door, nor have I the key.
Supercar to base. Supercar to base. 1,000 miles from North Pole. I'm going to make radio contact with Professor Karzinski.
Roger, Mike.
Calling Professor Karzinski. Calling Professor Karzinski at base 24 North Pole. Base 24 North Pole. Do you hear me? Over.
Hello, hello. This is base 24. Professor Karzinski speaking. Who is it calling?
Professor Karzinski, this is Mike Mercury in Supercar. Repeat, this is Mike Mercury in Supercar. We are
approaching your base and will be with you in approximately 20 minutes. We require you to give a blood transfusion for a man of your group in America. He is a member of the Supercar team. Over.
Your message received and understood. But there is a heavy blizzard here. Temperature 70 below. It would be madness to attempt flying at this time, even in Supercar.
Karzinski, this is Supercar. Understand that flying conditions in your area are impossible. Repeat, we'll be arriving in 20 minutes. Out.
Jason, it will be wonderful to see someone, and of course I'm only too delighted to help a sick man, particularly one of the Supercar team. but I think it's madness to attempt this journey. I must try to stop them.
No, Carl. Don't try and stop them. It's too perfect.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. It would be suicide.
If you try and stop them, Carl, it will be your suicide, not theirs. And from what I've heard of Supercar, they'll make it.
Jason, have you gone mad? Put that gun away.
No, I'm not mad, Carl. I'm just putting my plan into operation a little sooner, thanks to Supercar.
I see. You must be an enemy agent.
No, Carl. I work for no particular country. I'm just out for myself. I'll sell the information about the uranium to the power that pays me the most. It might even be the United States government, if they pay enough.
You won't get away with this, Jason. Hello, Supercar!
Say, I thought I heard Karzinski's voice then.
It was Mike, but it went dead while he was talking.
Yeah, that's it, Dr. Beaker. I made contact with Karzinski, and then in the middle of a transmission, there was a bang and everything stopped.
I haven't been able to contact him since.
Yes, it sounds very much as if his radio has broken down. However, you don't need any further contact with him, do you, Mike?
No, Doc. He knows I'm coming.
Just hope we can make it in this blizzard. It's getting worse by the minute. We're nearly there, Dr. Maslin. I've reduced height to 1,000 feet.
I understand enough about navigation to know that you're able to find your way to a given spot, but how are you going to find a tiny hut in a blinding snowstorm?
We have a television aid called Clearview. There. You see? Now we can scout around and find the hut. How long will it take you, Doc, once we've landed?
Not long. Half an hour, maybe.
Good. We can't afford to hang around too long at 70 degrees below zero. Even Supercar wouldn't be able to take that temperature for long.
Mike, look!
Yeah, there she is. Supercar to base, Supercar to base. Have located hut with Clearview and preparing for landing.
Base to Supercar. Good, Mike. Make a vertical descent and touch down as lightly as possible. Otherwise, Supercar may bury itself deep in the snow. Leave the engines running, Mike. It may be impossible to restart them at such a low temperature.
Cutting horizontal drive. Supercar to base. I can't make it, Dr. Beaker. I'm just a few feet from the ground, and the snow looks so soft, I'm sure if we touched down, Supercar would disappear. Over.
Base to Supercar. Base to Supercar. I understand your message, Mike, and suggest you use a technique we discussed for this situation.
Roger, Dr. Beaker. Switching over to remote.
What are you going to do, Mike?
You'll see.
It must be some blizzard, Jimmy. I'm having the greatest difficulty in holding Supercar steady.
What's happening, Dr. Beaker? What's going on?
Well, Jimmy, I'm going to hold Supercar steady, hovering just a few feet above the ground, while Mike and Dr. Maslin climb down by rope ladder.
I get it. This way, Supercar won't sink into the snow.
That's right, Jimmy.
Will it work?
Oh, I don't see any reason why not.
Professor Karzinski?
Hey, what goes on?
Something's wrong, Mike. Professor Karzinski, what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. Professor Karzinski didn't answer you because my gun was pointing straight at his head. And now, Professor, perhaps you would be kind enough to explain the situation to these gentlemen.
I tried to warn you over the radio, but Jason smashed it with his bullets.
Yeah, we got your transmission. We thought the radio had failed. Hey, what goes on?
We have made a discovery of some of the heaviest deposits of uranium yet to be found in the world. And Jason here is going to betray this secret to a foreign government.
Correction, Professor. To the government that pays me the most.
And how do you propose to get out of here?
Why, that's where you come in, Mike Mercury. You've just speeded up my plans. I get out of here 3 months sooner than I expected. In Supercar.
Jason, a man's life depends on our immediate return. You can't do this thing.
I'm the only one here that can fly Supercar. And there's only one place I'm heading, and that's Black Rock, Nevada.
You'll do as I say, Mike Mercury.
I repeat, I'm flying to Black Rock, Nevada.
I'll give you 10 seconds, Mike Mercury, to change your mind. And then I'm gonna shoot.
Go ahead, shoot.
Don't be a fool, Mike. He's crazy enough to do anything.
I repeat, Supercar is flying to Black Rock, Nevada.
Okay, Mike Mercury. You asked for it.
You fool, Jason. You've wrecked the generator.
Deliberately, Professor.
You know what that means, Jason. There is no heat or light. We shall freeze to death within an hour.
Precisely. But whether we do freeze to death or not depends on Mike Mercury.
Okay, Jason, you win.
Of course. As soon as he returns, I realize we are desperately short of time. Yes. Right. Goodbye.
That was the hospital, wasn't it, Dr. Beaker?
Yes, Jimmy. That was the hospital.
How's Professor Popkus making out, Dr. Beaker?
Well, Jimmy, he's as well as can be expected, and as long as Mike gets back soon, everything will be all right. That's strange, Jimmy. Mike has taken over control of Supercar. Why didn't he call? Something must be wrong. Base to Supercar. Mike, is anything wrong? Over.
Don't answer it, Mike Mercury. Set course for Switzerland and get going.
You'd all better fasten your safety belts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, no, Mike Mercury. I'm not falling for that one. I'm going to be nice and free to see that you don't get up to any tricks. And remember, I'm watching your course. I understand enough about navigation to know if you're trying to be smart.
You okay, Doc? Professor?
Fine. Oh, nice work, Mike. I'm all right. What happened?
Now, I told you to fasten your safety belt, didn't I, Jason?
Get me out of here! I can't breathe!
Supercar to base.
Supercar to base. All is well, Beaker. We are on our way back with Professor Karzinski.
What was the matter, Mike? Did you run into some trouble?
Nothing that Supercar couldn't handle.
Well, how are you, Professor?
Satisfactory. Most satisfactory. It's wonderful to feel well again. How can I ever thank you all?
You don't have to thank me, Professor. The Supercar team saved my life.
And you saved mine.
Well, let's just say that one good turn deserves another.
Professor, now that you are completely recovered, perhaps you could tell me where you put the key to the kitchen door?
Dr. Beaker, I'm sure you've got the key somewhere. Have you looked through your pockets?
Jimmy, I don't have to look through my pockets. I can assure you that I haven't got it.
You see, Dr. Beaker, you had it all the time.
Supercar, with beauty and grace, fast as can be. Watch it flying through the air. It travels in space or under the sea, and it can journey anywhere. Supercar, supercar. It travels on land or roams the skies through the heavens' mighty range. It's Mercury man, and everyone cries. It's the marvel of the age. Supercar, supercar.